Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. I often get asked, who's going to be the quarterback for the Raiders in 2023? Well, if you're wondering the same thing, you're in the right place. Before I get into my top 5 list, the Raiders Report is presented by Roan. Look how flexible the commuter dress shirt is. Hell, if I could do a backflip, I could probably do one in this, and it would look great. Go to roan.com/chatsports. Make sure you use promo code chatsports. That link's going to be available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's video in case you want a dress shirt that, I don't know, you can wear with your work buddies, date night, side piece, whatever you do, it's up to you. So who's going to be the Raiders quarterback? I decided, since I've made this video already 2 times, and the one guy who was in the video, Tom Brady, obviously he's not going to be in the video this time, I'm going to rank him from 5 all the way down to 1. The guy that I believe is the most likely to be the quarterback for the Raiders this upcoming season. Before I give you my top 5 list, I'm going to ask the nation. I know that we are a passionate fan base. I know that you guys are not afraid to speak your mind, and that's what I'm betting on right now. Who is going to be the Raiders quarterback in 2023? You're in Vegas. You got a handful of chips. Where are you putting those chips on? I'll tell you this. I hope it's not this guy, but he is number 5 on my list because you got to be able to face the facts. He has a connection with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. It's New England Patriots quarterback Mac Jones, and you would have to trade for him. He is, though, number 5. The last time I made the video, he was number 2. He thrived in McDaniels' system as a rookie, made the Pro Bowl, and McDaniels and Ziegler, they absolutely love this man. One of the reasons, though, why I dropped him down on my list is because I believe the Patriots hired Bill O'Brien to help get the most out of Mac Jones. Mac Jones and Bill O'Brien were together in 2017 on Alabama Crimson Tide's staff, I guess you could say. Jones was not the starter, but he was still a member of that team. When you look at the numbers here between 2021 and 2022, there's no doubt about it. Mac Jones was a better quarterback in Josh McDaniels' system, and if I was Jones, I'd be open to the idea. If I was the Patriots, Bailey Zappi to me, I thought played better. I'll also admit, if I was New England, I would give Mac Jones another chance because Matt Patricia, though some people think he's a rocket scientist, he overcomplicated the offense. But there's no denying it. Mac Jones was better in 2021 with Josh McDaniels, and I really do think that Ziegler, him, they did their homework, and they probably wouldn't be afraid to pick up the phone and give New England a call because this is always going to be a team. As long as the Raiders have both Ziegler and McDaniels, they're always going to be linked to every single player from New England. It's just the way it goes. The NFL is a best friends type of league, and that's the way that sometimes the cookie crumbles. Now, why should you subscribe to the Raiders Report? You're going to get videos every single day. We've been trying to get 2-3 videos out every day right now. We go live at least twice a week. This week, we're going to be live 3 times at least. If Derek ends up getting traded, even more. Interactive YouTube channel. More subs equals more videos. We just crossed 133,000 subs. Let me prove to you why we are the #1 most watched show around the Raiders in the world, and it's 100% for free. Let's go to number 4 here on my list. It's Jarrett Stidham, and this isn't a list of who I think are the best options. It's who I believe is the most likely to be the Raiders starting quarterback in Week 1. Stidham took over as the starter once the Raiders benched Derek Carr in Week 17. Stidham is going to be a free agent in 2023, but I would imagine that Stidham probably wants to come back to the Raiders, a team that traded for him last offseason, a team that he knows very well, a system that he has been working in since he was drafted all the way back in 2019 out of Auburn. Stidham, for some people, like him a lot. I will confidently say that I don't view Stidham as a top 40 quarterback, and the only way, if I was the Raiders, that you bring Stidham back to your team is if McDaniels and Ziegler, they talk to Mark Davis, and Mark says, hey, guys, no matter what, you're going to be back in 2024. You want to tank for Caleb Williams? You want to tank for Drake May? Jarrett Stidham's your guy. Tanking's not in my bloodline, and I think it would make Al Davis roll over in his grave. So here's Stidham's numbers against the Niners. If you can get this young man here, he's worth it. He's a top 12 quarterback. Is the way he played against San Francisco, it was the best offensive game I've seen the Raiders play all season. However, you saw in 1 week, teams got some tape on him, they took away some stuff, and he was a totally different guy, reverting back to the Jarrett Stidham that I would say I know against Kansas City. 1 touchdown, 2 turnovers, a game that the Raiders offense put up only 13 points, and he did. He really, really struggled. That's the problem, though, with Stidham. You're going to get some good glimpses. but the more and more tape defensive coordinators get on him, we just got to be able to face the facts. He's just not talented enough to be the starting of an NFL team in today's NFL. Now, today's show, y'all, is presented by Roan, and if you like the dress shirt I'm wearing, go to roan.com/chatsports and make sure that you use promo code chatsports for 20% off. Roan helps you get ready for any occasion with the Commuter Collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Roan Commuter Collection. With Cold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. And on top of that, Roan is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. The Commuter Collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/chatsports and use promo code chatsports to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/chatsports and use code chatsports. It's time to find your corner office in terms of comfort. When I dress up, I like to be comfortable. Yes, I want to look good, but I also want it to be simple. The fact that I can machine wash these shirts, the fact that I can save money on the dry cleaner. I remember when I worked in Boston and I literally had to wear a dress shirt every day. It drove me nuts. That's why I trust Roan, and I think you guys are going to like Roan as well. So we're going to keep rolling here on today's show. Josh Jacobs, he was at the Pro Bowl. Somebody asked him about the quarterback situation, and Jacobs said that he thought that the Raiders were targeting 3 quarterbacks. I believe I know who those 3 quarterbacks are. And I'm going to tell you who they are here in just a second. But if you're the Raiders, let's say all 5 of these guys are out the window. I do have some honorable mentions that I do at least want to bring up. Jacoby Brissett is absolutely another name to keep in mind because of his connections with McDaniels and Ziegler. Would not want that to happen. Baker Mayfield, intriguing name at least. Lamar Jackson, I believe he gets franchise tagged by Baltimore. Let's say in a crazy world it falls through. He's a guy that you should target. Geno Smith. I think he ends up going back to Seattle. He's probably the top quarterback on the free agent market, though. If Lamar's gone, it depends, obviously, what happens with some other situations if, DC hits free agency. And then Sam Darnold, another guy from the West Coast. So my question to you is this, because when you think about the quarterback drama going on around the silver and black, how should the Raiders get their next QB? Do you trade for one? Are you going to trade for an Aaron Rodgers, Mac Jones? Are you going to sign a Jimmy Garoppolo, Jacoby Brissett, Jarrett Stidham? Are you going to draft a C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis? Are you going to try to draft, a Bryce Young? All those questions come into regard when you talk about quarterbacks. Let's go to number 3 here on my list of who's the most likely to be the Raiders starter come week 1. Now we're going to head to free agency. We're going to head to free agency, and there's a guy named Jimmy Garoppolo. I tweeted out that if the Raiders trade for Mac Jones or sign Jimmy Garoppolo, I am going to riot. And the reason why I'm going to riot is because I don't think Garoppolo is going to be what the Raiders need. You already had a game manager in Derek Carr. Now you're going to go to another game manager and Jimmy Garoppolo. It just doesn't quite add up to me. But this list is based on what Ziegler and McDaniels might try to do. He was selected by the Patriots in round 2 in 2014. The fact that he's going to be a free agent and the fact that McDaniels and Jimmy G, they have a lot of history, it's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that's going to be talked about, and it's going to be something that we have already seen Ziegler and McDaniels show Raider fans. Past relationships help, and that's what they care about. They already said that they want to bring in their own guys this offseason. Garoppolo falls into that window of their own guys. If you strike out on Aaron Rodgers, if you're not confident that you're going to be able to get a guy like a C.J. Stroud, a Bryce Young, somebody else in the draft, Garoppolo might be the guy that you go with. Doesn't sound like he has a very good relationship with Kyle Shanahan. They're already moving on from him. And when he did play with McDaniels in that offense, he was able to execute that offense pretty well. I'll also admit they had a defense. They had a better all-around team than this current Raiders team, which a lot of people need to be able to realize. And if you don't put a great team around Jimmy G, he's just going to be average. And I think if you were to sign Garoppolo, you win 7, 8, 9 games. That's probably the worst thing possible that the Raiders could do because that doesn't put you in contention for a top quarterback, and it kind of puts you in another purgatory places, which is where you've been with Derek Carr. However, though, in the 2 games that he started with New England and McDaniels' offense, 71.2% completion percentage, 496 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a really, really solid quarterback rating of 119. That was Jimmy G back then. Jimmy G now, from what I've seen, he just gets hurt, okay? 2022, started in 10 games, missed 5 due to injury. Technically, he missed 7, but he just didn't start the first 2 games. 2021, 15 starts, 1 missed. 2020, 6 starts, 10 missed games. 2018, 3 starts, 13 missed games. Garoppolo has dealt with a lot of injuries, and that also has to go to this equation. Why am I going to bet my job, which means Ziegler and McDaniels? Because I believe they don't win this year, they're done. Are you going to invest your entire stock in a guy who has not really been able to show that he can stay healthy? I don't think that you are. Next guy coming up here, and this is where I want the Raiders to go with one of these 2 top options. C.J. Stroud, the quarterback out of Ohio State. Do I think Stroud's the best quarterback in this year's draft? I do not. The reason why he makes the list is because I believe he's the most likely to be selected by the Silver and Black. He is regarded as one of the top quarterback prospects, and if you were to ask me, hey, Mitch, out of all the guys, who do you think could have the highest upside? Stroud's in that window. I have said multiple times on this show that I had a very reliable source tell me that Dave Ziegler is a fan of Stroud, and a lot of people should be. When his tape is good, it's good. You want to watch good tape? Throw on the Georgia game. You want to watch bad tape? Throw on the Rutgers game, because that's the problem with Stroud. Sometimes you watch him and you're like, man, this guy deserves to be number 1 pick. If I can get the guy that showed up against Georgia, that's the number 1 overall pick. Nobody questions it. Look at these numbers. 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The guy that showed up against Rutgers, though, he doesn't even deserve to get picked in the first round. He's got the height, 6'3", 218 pounds. He's got the arm strength, the accuracy. The problem that he has is once the play breaks down or if he has to go outside the pocket, that's where he struggles. I think the other issue is this. If you're Davante Adams, do you want to work with a rookie quarterback? If you're Ziegler and McDaniels, you did tell Davante, and Davante's made it known that he wants to be a part of that conversation of who the next quarterback is. If you draft a rookie and Davante doesn't like it, what happens if he asks for a trade? Then you put the quarterback that you just drafted in a very difficult situation. My top quarterback prospects are these 4 gentlemen right here. Bryce Young, Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. I do believe Levis and Richardson are available at 7, though I would not want to take them at 7. Stroud and Young, I don't think are available at 7. So I do think no matter what, if you want one of those top 2 guys, you have to probably end up trading up for one of them. If you want to stay up to date on news, Twitter, Mitchell Renz 365. You want to stay up to date on my personal life, and I put even more stuff on Instagram as well, Mitchell Renz 365. If you're a diehard Raider fan and you want even more content from me, think of it as like OnlyFans for Raider fans. I just keep my shirt on. Sometimes Chugs doesn't, though. RaidersReport.locals.com, which means now coming in, drum roll, please. No surprise. It's Aaron Rodgers, number 1 player most likely to be the quarterback of the Raiders. I came on this show, Giggity, and I said I had a source tell me that Rodgers wants to be a Raider. I was also told by that source that it's not going to cost nearly as much trading for Rodgers because Rodgers is going to tell the Packers, you're either going to trade me to the Raiders or I'm going to retire. Green Bay does not want Rodgers to retire because it puts them in a very difficult situation. Davante Adams has made it clear that he wants the Raiders to join. And if you don't believe me, I think you might believe Vegas. Vegas released their latest odds, minus 500 for who the next team is. Raiders, minus 500 Aaron Rodgers. That sounds pretty good. Is he coming off a bad year? Did he look 39 years old? He did. He also, though, had a bunch of Mickey Mouse wide receivers in Green Bay, and they were lost. You can laugh at Nathaniel Hackett all you want, but Hackett and Aaron Rodgers had a good relationship, and that duo seemed to work. He missed him. I also know that Davante Adams helps, and Davante Adams is going to be able to help get the best out of Rodgers. Hell, the last 2 times that we saw these guys play, Rodgers won back-to-back NFL MVPs in 2021 and in 2020. Davante also, if he was willing to bet his career on a QB ready to win now, he's in the prime. I wouldn't mind if it was Rodgers, right? In 108 games played with Rodgers, Davante Adams, 937 targets, 622 catches, 7,590 yards, and we can all just be little kids and spam the amount of touchdowns Adams had with Rodgers. In terms of stats, and I thought this was interesting, so I wanted to show you all this. Aaron Rodgers, he also said that he wants to play with Davante, that he missed not having Davante on his team. Look at these numbers here. With Adams, without Adams. This is throughout his entire career. Yards per game, it's about 30 less without Adams. Touchdowns per game, 2.2 to 1.8. Interceptions per game, 0.35, 0.54. Quarterback rating, 103.5, 99.3. MVPs, 3 MVPs with Davante Adams, 1 MVP. For some of you who are like, Mitch, all right, those numbers, they're kind of weird to look at. So imagine those numbers on screen. Now imagine those numbers on a 17-game pace. That's what these numbers are on screen now. So with Adams, throughout his entire career, Rodgers on a 17-game pace has averaged 4,471 yards, 37 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 103.5 QB rating, and 67.5 win percentage, which now comes out to about 11 wins. Without Adams, much less yards, less touchdowns, more interceptions, lower quarterback rating. Yes, it is still around 11 wins, but I see an improvement in all those areas. Rodgers knows he's not going to get any younger, and I really do think Rodgers sits down and he's like, I know I can do it with Adams. I know I can win MVP with Adams. He gives me the best shot to win. And you can say what you want about the Jets. Rodgers doesn't want to play with young receivers, and I think that is something that he has clearly stated over the past few seasons. He wants to play with his dude, and his dude is Davante Adams. Rodgers knows him and Davante is MVP caliber, and if you got the MVP on your team, you're always in win-now Super Bowl range. So here are my Raiders quarterback rankings. I'll be real with y'all, the only 2 I want on screen are C.J. Stroud and Aaron Rodgers. The other 3 are what I think Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler might do. If you made it this far in the video, remember, hit that subscribe button. If you want to post this on Instagram, Twitter, you want to tag me in it, please. I don't think it's a bad idea. I appreciate everyone who shares this show. Let's hope, though, C.J. Stroud, Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders this upcoming season.